Morning everyone. What I want to do at the moment is to show you a couple of examples of how some students previously have used surveys in their outcome, and to show you a couple of survey folio pages that have been produced by students as well. Okay, so we're going to start with the SACE board website. So you can access this yourself. Just go to sace.sa.edu.au. Go into the resources, support materials, and it will take you to a page that looks like this. Anything on here is accessible by you, it's accessible by me, it's accessible by any student who is undertaking SACE this year, and the information is here for you to access and look at, get ideas, etc. So in this section here, I've gone into research outcome. There is a whole host of student exemplars. These are previous years' work by students, so actual live copies with the grades that they have been awarded. So if you want to have a look at and see what it takes to get an A+, what the standard is for an A, what the standard is for a B+, what the standard is just to get the C to pass, have a look at the exemplars on this website. Now I've found a couple of these examples, had a look through them, and found where students have used surveys in these tasks, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So having a look at one of these tasks, it's the one about the video blogger. So this is the B- example. We've got a student who in their introduction has used survey results. Now this isn't a survey that they conducted, rather it's a survey that they have found online and they have incorporated it into their task. You'll see up the top here that they talk about a video blogger on YouTube, commonly known as a vlogger, successful job for some, blah blah blah. YouTube is growing at a rapid rate, please check your spelling, claiming the new role of television with it estimated that 300 hours of new videos are uploaded to YouTube every minute. Now they've included this survey result, this bar graph, in order to support that information. What they haven't done is actually referenced within here this text. So the way that they could improve this, uploading videos is growing at a rapid rate, and inserting a sentence in there, as can be seen in figure 1, there is a growth in subscribers to uploading videos. Okay, so a quick reference to that graph would have further substantiated what the student was saying. So that's one example of how that could be incorporated. The second example here is the A+ example. So we've got the architecture of the Adelaide Remand Centre being looked at, and within the section the question that the students asked, how does the architecture affect the behaviour of its prisoners? One of the things they've done is incorporated their survey results really quickly in the introduction. Prisoners predominantly see single cells as being ideal. Figure 1 displays the results when prisoners were asked what extent they agree with the statement. Individual cells should be used wherever possible. So not only have they actually incorporated it, but they have also put it into context, and they've talked about it straight up here. Further on down, prisoners deprived of privacy may adapt by. They've given some examples and used a different reference for that one. Long periods of solitude, however, can result in sensory deprivation. Sensory deprivation may have a further negative impact on mood and behaviour. That comes from, again, a different interview that was held, but they have also then gone back to their survey results where they have, where did I see this? Some prisoners prefer double cells so that they can socialise after lockdown. However, they are also useful when a particular prisoner is vulnerable, lonely, or experiencing difficulty coping. This is only effective if no conflict exists between the cellmates. An example of this was highlighted in the survey. Cells should have a personal light for each bunk. The top fluoro causes arguments. So again, they've used their survey to substantiate the information that they have found from other sources. So the information in the survey backs up what they're being, what they are referencing from other sources, from previous sources. Notice also the format of the results that have been chosen. They've used a pie graph where it's actually very clear particularly when it's in colour, where it's very clear what each of the sections is. So you've got the 4%, 45, 41 and 8%. Make sure that you do choose an appropriate graph style to put your results in. Make sure also that it has a key so that it's very easy to read and understand the different types of information that are being presented. So that's just a couple of examples from the SACE board website. Now for you guys, there is also a massive amount of information that is available on the public drive. So I'm just in the research project folder in the Folio exemplars, and in here you will find, as I said, a whole range of different examples as well. Some of this information is actually work from this year's Year 12s, like this piece here, where a student was looking at animal testing and makeup. So we've got a student who has used a survey within the results here. Their sub-question, what evidence is there for the power of social media in influencing our opinions on animal testing and cosmetics? Bit of background information to introduce the topic. They've then gone into information that they have surveyed. So this demonstrates that social media is becoming increasingly popular and could be quite powerful in influencing its users. Cosmetics are only a small topic expressed, but the format has already proven influential. This is supported by 94% of people in the survey conducted who stated that they knew about animal testing. 54% of these people were made aware through social media. Another way this influence was evident was by the 76% of people who listed animal testing as unreasonable. Only 2% suggested it wasn't, and the other 22% were unsure. As stated above, this shows that. So then they go into some further analysis of this information. And I believe that continues here. Social media can be a powerful engine in affecting people's opinions, and this is why many organisations use it as their main platform for presenting information. So not only have they presented the results of their survey, they've analysed it and they have put it into context for the actual question and how it helps to answer the question. There's some more use of the survey down in this section, where an interview with a YouTuber has been firstly discussed and talked about, and then supported further by a survey. So this statement is also supported by a survey conducted via social media, where over 50% first became aware of animal testing through social media, and over 75% did not agree with it. So she's used her survey responses to support her other research. Please see the connection between the two there. Another example from a student's work from this year, again, and slightly different way of presenting survey response this time. We've got a student who has chosen to use a extended response or a quote that was received from a survey within their answering of their question. So their key focus area for this one is how does society react to anxiety and depression. My preliminary research found that 98% of responses in a public survey believe that organisational support is widely available. Now this talks about how this contradicts what was found in the earlier section, where they were saying that there was not enough support available, but the general public is saying that there is. So there is a perception of one by one group of society and a perception of the opposite by another group of society. So they've used that to analyse that information. They've provided some possible reasons in stating that this perception is possibly due to how well organisations such as Beyond Blue and the Black Dog are in publishing themselves. So my actions were necessary and resulted in a positive outcome as I advised the family to visit the Beyond Blue Foundation. So we've got a extended response that's been used from a survey there as well. So another example of how it can be incorporated into an outcome. The third example that we've got here, again from a piece of work from a student from this year who looked at vegetarian and vegan diets and athletic performance, background information on the effects of B12 and the importance of B12 within the diet, and then a survey was conducted of vegetarian and vegan athletes and whether or not they were using supplements. And interestingly, after doing their research, they discovered that B12 is one of the most important vitamins that for vegetarians and vegans, because it's not often consumed in enough quantities on a plant-based diet. However, their survey responses showed that not one person, 0% people that took their survey were actually using supplements of B12. So then they've been able to analyse and talk about that information from their survey. So again, they've made a direct link from their survey to the information that they are discussing. The last couple of examples that I've got here are from student folios and how students have presented survey information within their folios. So this is a screen capture of a survey that was presented or provided by a student. Now this might just be their rough draft, or they might have done it as a handout, or they could have done it as a Survey Monkey, entirely up to you what format you do that in. But these are the questions that they asked. It tells a little bit of information about why they chose to make some of these questions, what they were hoping to get out of them. But this is the main part of the information. This is the responses have now been analysed, and they are then able to discuss and talk about the differences within the responses and how they relate to the information that the student wants to present. The last example here, we've got a survey layout that's been presented. The one that I find really interesting and I think is really important in this one is down here in question 4, where they've discussed why they wrote this type of question. Why do you enjoy watching anime? The purpose of the question: to discover the source of what drives people to watch anime. This will allow me to see whether what is suggested by Susan Napier in her book Anime from Akira to Howley's Moving Castle, that anime is used as an escape from reality, is true. That is really powerful connection stuff for moderators to see. So she has found some information in a book by an author, and she is using her survey questions specifically to check on whether or not that piece of information is factual or is supported by survey results. Okay, so that I think is a really important thing to point out as well. The purpose behind the writing of the question and the type of question that was developed has been really well thought out, and it's been conveyed to the moderators within the folio page. So have a look at some of those types of examples as well. As I said, there's still a lot more examples and exemplars and things that you can find on the folio page, and different bands in there. If you go back into outcomes, you'll also find exemplars there where you'll be able to, I'll put a few more in there for you, but you will also be able to find various examples of previous students' work there as well. Okay, I hope. And don't forget the SACE website. It's always a really important place to start and have a look at. The folios there will also contain examples of students' surveys and how they have set up folio pages relating to those. Okay, a lot of talking from me, but that's it now. Good luck.